Y'all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Alden-C.
Here.
Trustee Bender.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Sellers. Trustee Sellers, or Supervisor Sellers.
Here.
Okay.
All righty. First thing on the agenda is ratified supervisor's change of date for the regular town meeting to January 9th of 2014. I had to postpone the meeting on Monday because it was entirely too cold. I alerted all trustees and got their approval. So, Mike, anything else I need to?
Need a motion.
Just need a motion and a second and a vote.
Okay. All right.
Second.
Who said that? Bender?
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Bender.
Okay. This can be a voice vote,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All righty. I need a motion of approval to approve the minutes of December 16th of 2013. I need a motion and a second.
I move for approval of the minutes of December 16, 2013.
Motion by Bender. I need a second.
I don't have a copy of them, so I can't second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Did you get a copy?
It wouldn't, let me print up at work because it was in Adobe something.
Okay.
So I asked Liz if she would print it on for me.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we have a first and a second.
Mm-hmm. First and a second. So, you guys can read over and have any discussion. Have any things you'd like to change or add? Or
Did you get a chance to read them, Kathy?
Oh, yeah, on the computer.
You did read them,
Yeah.
though. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
everybody's read them.
Everybody's read them.
Mhm.
Okay. So there's no discussion on them. Okay. Let's move on.
You have to
That's
have a
good.
vote.
I need a
All in
voice
favor?
vote. Yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Okay.
Motion passed. Here we go. Next on the agenda, Ordinance T 2013-05, Amendment to Appropriation and Budget Ordinance T 2013-01. I need a motion.
No, this is for
No.
discussion.
Oh, this is for discussion only.
And
Okay.
this is why Liz is here in case anybody has questions or
Okay.
comments, and she can answer questions, and Mike is here too.
Okay.
What are we doing, the claims?
Here we go.
Oh, wait,
Not
wait,
yet.
wait a minute, was there a motion made at the previous meeting to, I don't see it in the minutes?
No, it was just presented and laid over because it had to be,
Mhm.
it had to be in the newspaper for a month.
Right.
So there were questions on it, so Patrick wanted to put on this agenda so anybody had any questions, then they could discuss it.
And it's one
Well,
time we
Liz-
voted on it at the
Nobody's
second
voted
meeting?
it. No,
At the second
it'll
meeting?
be voted on at the next meeting.
Right, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, right.
Who am I handing this to?
Why are we down here?
This
Down
is
where?
the revised version that he's passing out.
Yes.
The revised version of what?
The ordinance
Couple
of
corrections.
Okay, but we didn't do the approval of the claims and demands yet, did we?
No, we haven't, we haven't.
No,
done
not
that
yet.
part
We haven't gotten that
That's-
far yet.
That's passed, that's the next thing on the agenda after.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have a different ordinance.
She has
No,
a-
the approval of the claims and demands is number 6, and then the ordinance.
Well, on my copy it's
No,
not.
No.
the ones that you got should have been,
Ah.
it's just the other way around.
grab her a different one.
Okay, somebody gave me the wrong one.
No, that's how it usually reads, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That one.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You need a copy of the new one here.
I have,
Okay.
yeah.
Everybody get a copy? Did you get a copy? Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
You need to leave one for Joy when she
Mhm.
comes in.
Can you pen over?
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Question.
Okay.
If the 133,956, which is income including transfer from reserves.
Where are you at, Mickey?
Okay, I'll tell you exactly where I'm on page 1, I'm under general town fund, and I'm looking at the 133, the other income including transfers from reserves. It says 133,956. Now, if that's a transfer from reserves, does that not come out of the 599,059, the beginning balance? Isn't that where that comes from?
Hold on a second.
I put that in there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right, right.
Right.
Well, the first one made sense to me. Now, this one doesn't, because,
I'm sorry.
we
Did you
don't
get that one?
have 1,229,659, because if we took the 133 out of the 599,059, that would give us what we had before, the 1,229,659, not the 1,363. That's not available, because the 133 came out of the beginning balance. Because isn't that where our, isn't that where we keep our funds, is in the beginning balance? In other words, that's an audited figure, came right out of the audit, at 599,059. It's less than what was in our previous budget, because the figure was audited. And see, before, when you had the total estimated funds available, that made sense. But now, you can't spend it and then add it back in.
Liz?
Okay, if you look at the estimated revenues,
Mm-hmm.
599,059 is your beginning balance.
Right,
And then you're gonna take your revenues, which is the 626, the
Yes.
4,000, the
Yes.
500,
Yes.
and the 100,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
And that equals your 630,600,
yes.
which is on your budget, okay?
Yes.
So, what you're gonna do is, to get that 133, is on the line items that are cooked with this for each of the budgets, including the items that we wanna increase,
Right.
that comes up to your 764,556.
Correct,
Minus the 630,600 equals your 133,956.
correct.
Okay? So then, to get your, the 1,363,000, you're gonna take your beginning balance of 599,000.
Yes.
Plus what you need, the 764,000, to get your 1,363,000.
Correct, but the 133,956 comes out of our reserve, which is the 599,059,
That was your beginning balance, correct?
which is our reserve.
Right.
Okay.
That's at the beginning of May 1st, but then you've got your revenue that you're adding in for your
That's
property.
right, that's right.
Right.
But what you've got is the 133,956 is in the 599. So the way it was done the first time was correct. Now the way it's done, it's showing we have 1,363,615, and we don't.
Well, that's what you want. If you amend the budget, that's the total that we need in order for the additional lines that we have that we need to add.
No, you only need the figure that you have here, the 599. See, here's where I'm having trouble. The 599,059 already includes the 133. So why are we adding the 133 again?
Because it's added into your additional revenues, because you're adding it to it. That was your beginning balance, and then you have your revenues that wasn't including the increases on the lines.
Oh, yeah, I
Right.
understand that, but then shouldn't you show that being taken out of the 599,059?
You initially are when you're adding it to what you are increasing the lines to. So you have to add those two amounts together to get your bottom balance.
That doesn't make sense to me. Financially, it doesn't make sense, because you can't have a beginning balance that has the 133 in it, and then add it again.
But the beginning balance is what, like your reserve, what
That's
you
right.
had left over.
That's right.
Right.
But you said
Okay.
right here, other income
So
transfer
that
from
599
reserves.
would
Right.
be,
That's what we started.
Yes.
What the year.
Right, because you have to transfer the money in for the lines that,
Then that should reduce the 599,059 by 133,956,
Right, but you,
correct?
right, but you have to list it on your budget, if
Maybe
you're gonna
you
amend a
reduce this
budget,
number too.
you have to make sure that this
Okay.
beginning balance is truly what it was at the beginning, if you're just amending it. You don't wanna take out the 133 from your beginning balance, because then the auditors won't have a good audit trail of where your beginning balance was from your,
Well, it's in the audit though.
right, but it wouldn't be on the budget. It's in your audit report, but it's not on your budget. So these top figures are going exactly from what the original budgeted ordinance was to begin with. So you wanna make sure that that information is correct.
Well, that's correct, the 626, the 4,000, the 5, and the 100. You know, and I just, this throws me off because the original, ordinance that we got showed that taken out of here, and now it showed added back in, and I think that's a false number.
Well,
so you're saying this top number up here should read 465,105,
Well, if we take.
this one?
Yeah, if
If
we
we
take
take
the
this out of there?
133 out of here, you know, and then add it in again, then to me, that's a false number.
This is the number that's wrong.
The
'Cause you're-
Total
'cause
estimated
you're
available
double
funds.
counting, this is what
Yeah.
you're saying. You're
Okay,
counting it
right.
as revenues and you're counting it as part of carry forward.
So we gotta take it out of the,
So what I would say is, and this is all financial, but I would
Mhm.
say that if you reduce this by the 133,956, that will give you,
that one that
it will
you,
give you like, about 1,230,000 or so.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
That's the
and
actual
that's,
available
yes,
revenue.
actual available, and that's what the original amendment that we got said, and now this one is coming in, with a different figure.
okay,
I think the original one was correct, and I was struggling with that before, but then I spent some time on it and I realized, you know, cause see, if we say it's coming from our reserve funds, that beginning balance is our reserve fund.
That's correct.
okay.
So should the beginning balance read 465,103?
No.
The beginning balance
No.
is the amount that we had in our accounts
what the audit
on
read.
May 1.
Right.
Yeah.
2004
Right.
and 13, and during the fiscal year of 2013-14, we're gonna take 133,957 out of reserve and transfer it to the general fund
Right.
so we can spend it to make the budget balance. Okay, so you're double counting it, and in fact, that's what Trustee Martin is saying, you're including it in the beginning balance, and then you're also including it as if it was brand new revenue. We gotta show the revenue we're depending on.
Right,
So if you just, all you have to do to make this correct is just reduce
Reduce
the 1,363,615,
by
By
133,
133,956,
Correct.
which is what it says of 1,230,000
Correct.
or so.
Correct.
We haven't added
which is
it.
what the original one was.
Yes,
back. Okay.
yes, that's what the original
Okay.
one did.
I'm okay with that, I just didn't wanna alter the original
Yes,
beginning
no.
balance
Mhm.
on there.
okay,
The original one is correct,
Mhm.
cause I spent a lot of time going over
Okay.
our budget, the audit,
Mhm.
and found all the figures, and everything matched, and then I figured out, I didn't know at first how the 1,299, and then I realized that
Okay.
came out of the reserve.
Well, that's not an issue that I can go in and, because it's gonna be the same on the GA part
Right,
as well.
right. Well, and all we have to do, I think, is just, if you changed it on the new one, we just subtract it out.
Right, then
Yeah.
we should be good,
Yeah, we should be fine,
okay.
we should be fine.
I was assuming you wanted to alter the beginning balance, which really
No,
wouldn't be a
no,
good
no,
thing.
oh,
Right.
no,
So,
no, absolutely not.
1,229,
Mhm.
659, I
for
think.
clerical purposes, would that other income, including transfer from reserves, maybe if it were in a bracketed number? Because for me, looking at that 599 as a beginning balance, adding up the estimated revenues, those two should total the total estimated funds.
Right.
For me, it doesn't read right mathematically, because I wanna add the beginning balance and the estimated reserves to give me a new fund. And that's what I believe Liz was looking at, the same way I am. That one
Same way I
thirty-three,
was, too.
956 needs to show it as a negative somewhere, whether you wanna put it up
Yeah.
at the beginning balance,
Well, you could
something.
bracket it out.
bracket it out,
Right.
which is what I would do, and then it would really make sense.
The statute requires, the reason I put that in there, that wasn't in previous years, they didn't have the transfer in,
Mhm.
because the statute requires us to show all the revenues we're relying on, and I
Right.
thought it was kind of dangerous not to,
No, it's a good idea,
not to put in
but it
what we're
just
gonna
didn't-
transfer in.
yeah, it
So,
didn't make
Cause
mathematical
it's actually
sense.
sitting off in investments right now, and now it's gonna be coming in to be
Correct.
spent.
Right.
Got it.
So I wanted to show that, but I didn't mean to cause all the confusion, but that's why we added it, when previous years it wasn't in there.
So I can put a bracket around that and then adjust the totals for the town and the GA, and then it should be
Well,
correct.
as long as, you know, it's clear, because otherwise, I mean, this is a new format for me.
Yeah.
So I had to study it thoroughly to try to really understand it, and it was not very transparent for me. And so I spent a lot of time on it and finally figured it out.
Okay.
You know, the one that makes sense to me is the first one.
Okay. Yeah, like I say, I can make those changes and then we should be.
Yeah, the
good to
first
go.
one makes sense.
So the first one was correct.
Yes. Mathematically,
Okay. All right.
in terms of reserves, et
Okay.
cetera.
Okay.
So are you gonna change the first page of this, Liz, or are you gonna leave it the way it is?
Well, you
No,
could just go back to the original. The
Right.
original's fine.
Right, I'm gonna put brackets around the,
Okay.
the one on the first page for town
Mhm.
and the one for the GA part, put the 112,020 in brackets, and then I'll adjust the bottom balances, and then we should be good to go.
Okay, make sure to send me a copy of that then. And we'll have a copy here in case somebody
Mm-hmm.
wants to look at it.
Gotta make sure we're being transparent.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just, you know, again, like I say, I'm not used to this format, so it
Mhm.
took me a while to figure it out, how it was done. Well, the second question I have then is, we had, now, I don't know, Cindy, I think you had a figure that said we were 202,000 deficit on our original budget, but I actually found that we were $226,008 deficit in our original budget.
That was me.
Was that you?
I was the one who came up with the 202.
Did you?
Right.
Okay. Well, it'll probably shake out because, basically, instead of the 202,000 or whatever that was, we're now at a $315,000 deficit. So we've increased our deficit by $89,000 over last year's budget. So this appropriation now shows us, $89,000 more in deficit.
$89,000 more added on top of a deficit that we already inherited, right?
Yes, we've increased our deficit, you know, from the original.
From the original
89
deficit.
Pardon?
From the original deficit.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Of 200 and how much thousand?
Well, my figures may or may not be accurate, but, I had seen where, Mr. Phillips had 202,000. Actually, at the time I ran all the figures, I actually came up with a $226,000 deficit on the original budget, okay? But again, my figures, you know, could be wrong, but they're not wrong in terms of that 226 plus an $89,000 more, we are now $315,008 in deficit. So our deficit has increased.
So with that 133,000 we're asking for, that's going to increase our deficit.
Well,
on top of-
yes, well,
Okay.
the cumulative total, Mr. Sellers, is what, you know, increased the deficit.
Okay.
Not just the general town fund,
Right, okay.
but all of the funds that got adjusted.
Okay. But now,
They were all adjusted. Well, not all of them, I take that back. The only ones that were adjusted were, the general town fund and the general assistance fund. Everything else was left alone.
Mickey, you referenced the audit report for 2013, the
Sure.
one that they did. Did you note what the deficit was at that time? And do you have that number? I believe it's $372,109.
Hold on. No, it's 226,008.
In the audit report, it reads that? It
That's
says
what I
there's an
found.
excess deficiency of revenues and other sources over and under expenses, and my number is 372,109 this year. It was 31,488 the previous year. The years previous to that, we were
Well-
in the black.
Yeah.
But these last 2 years, we ended in the red substantially this 2012 and 13.
Actually, our budget, if you looked at it, Cindy, because you have to look at the audit as well as the budget to compare where they got the figures for the audit. And the problem, what we did last year was, we had a deficit, but what we did is we amended our budget so that we took less money, we spent less money, and we got more money in.
And I'll beg to differ again. If you look at the audit reports of 2012, we began our beginning balance of $1,250,558. We started our 2013, according to the audit, at a total of $878,449, or a decrease of $372,109 from the previous year.
Well, we had a decrease because we had less tax money. We had more tax money. Let's see, I got these from,
My inclination is telling me, because of the operating transfers in and out, is that we moved $215,000 from general fund, put $150 into capital, and then there was another transfer of $5. I think if you go back and look at this 2012-13 audit, you're gonna see that we, not only did we decrease our beginning balance by $372,109, but much of it was applied to this building
we
for capital.
did that, Cindy, because that was in the capital fund. And what we
Correct.
did is we added the capital fund initially, and then when we spent the money, it came out. So, of course.
To the tune of $372,109, you're right, it
So
came
it
out.
came out. But if you look at what the Stevenson County clerk did, she showed us in this, and I guess I was gonna ask you, Mr. Sir, did we get a treasurer's report from you?
Yes, we had
Because
treasurer's
I have not
reports.
found a treasurer's report, because that's the other thing that we rely on, is that sometimes our income starts coming in at a better rate than we anticipated. And so it's important that at a 6 months point, we should know exactly what our income has been.
Okay.
So if we could get a treasurer's report, you know, and if it's by the next meeting, fine, or if it's not till February, that's fine too.
Okay.
But it would help us know how close we're coming to meeting, you know, our obligations.
Okay.
Because we always had that before, and I dug up an old one.
Didn't we, the last one we got, wasn't that after we had all the tax dollars?
Well,
was
what we
illness,
got
right?
was,
I don't think we've gotten one since then.
Right.
well, we get something from the, let's see, where did we get this from? We get this from,
The treasurer.
a settlement from the county. Okay. And the last one that we got was 11/14. I don't know. I try to keep all these together, but, well, this was
I think we got the last one in October or November.
After the final payments.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten anything since then.
Okay, but in addition to that, I think this is what you're talking about, how that looks, right?
Excuse me.
Because then it shows, you know, what funds go into our, funds, but
I
I
might
guess,
have it in a file. I think I remember seeing it and I put one in the file.
because what I was looking for was a cash balance, a deposit, a withdraw, and then what the cash balance and year-to-date interest.
So that's something that we did in our accounting system here, is that what
Mhm.
you're saying?
Well, I don't know if
Yes.
if you guys did this, or if it was done previously.
Oh, cause I've never seen
No.
that way.
Yeah.
I've just seen what the treasurer's given us, and
That
I know
comes
we
out of
handed
the-
that out.
Mhm.
We handed that out at the November,
That-
or October.
That comes out of the old
This
system.
comes out of the old system,
Mhm.
but our new system could set something up like this,
Can I
couldn't
see?
it? Sure, sure, sure.
Maybe
That's why I kinda struggle with,
maybe at the end of the meeting, you can let Liz see that, and maybe we can
okay,
come up
sure,
with something like
sure.
that.
Because, you know, with the changing format, it's hard to, you know, figure out exactly what
Mhm.
everything is. But it would help, and this helps too, because, I had the county clerk, just run our sheets for 2011 and for 2012,
Mhm.
so I knew exactly where we were at, and what our increase rates were.
Okay.
You know, what we actually requested and what we actually got was quite different.
Mhm. That's how it usually works.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we can ask for the moon, but we're only gonna get
That's
what
right.
we're allowed.
Hence why we were in a deficit budget.
Right.
We asked for more than what we can get.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to look over
This?
everything?
Oh, yeah, I'm just looking over.
Okay.
I didn't get the,
There's some changes that we need to make on that one, though.
The, bills. I didn't-
Claims and
I
demands?
don't think that's the only one they didn't have one over there.
No,
Okay.
I don't. did
Oh,
it.
okay, that's fine. I can,
You have a copy. She can have my copy.
I can make a copy
No, no,
for
she
you.
can have mine, because I got it all.
Okay,
Yeah, that one right there.
thank you.
Any more discussion
Oh, I'm sorry that I came in, that was not.
on the,
I had to go to
budget amendment?
Oh, the budget amendment?
Mhm.
Okay.
Which we're not voting on, we're just having a discussion about it, so.
This sits on the back, this is what, I'm sorry that I'm late. I had a family, my brother had to go to we had to rush him to the hospital yesterday, so. What we're adopting right here on the back, is that what this is what we're looking at?
We're
to
looking at
adopt?
that,
Okay,
mhm.
that's what I
Looking
thought.
At the
Okay.
next meeting.
At the next
Okay,
meeting,
yeah.
there's some changes need to be done to that one right there, though, so.
What were some of the changes that you looked at that you thought you needed to change?
Well, the beginning balance number,
I'll show you
needed to be
this.
changed.
Oh, the 599?
This was the original.
Yep, we need to take out,
This was the original, and
1.3.
this is correct.
Oh,
That's not.
oh.
Okay,
what's the
so they're gonna
difference?
go back
Is
to the
it-
original. Well, actually what happened was the 133 was
Oh,
actually
okay.
taken out of this figure.
Oh,
That was
okay.
our reserve,
Okay.
you know, so, and then it got added back in without it being taken out, so.
It's gonna show it as a bracket, Joy,
Oh, okay.
that 133, so that mathematically it flows and it makes sense.
Oh, okay, okay.
so hopefully
We
that
kind
will,
of talked about that a little bit at the last meeting.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
hoping
yes.
that will suffice and we can get this thing passed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Are there any more discussions that need to be had?
That was the only thing that everybody kind of commented on, was that?
That's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Okay.
Oh, and the only other thing was, you know, that we're now 315,000 in deficit because we increased the budget, this year.
You know, Trustee Martin, I have to ask you something. I really do. Last year in 2012 and 13, the budget was amended $162,763. And that's $28,000 more than what I'm asking for this current amended, for this budget amendment. The year before that, the budget was amended on 11/28/11 for $267,000. Then again on 4/9/12 of $21,500 for a total of $288,510. Now hold on, which is $154,554 more than what I'm asking for. So
Wow.
we're talking about an amendment to a budget
33,000.
that I was stuck with. which I stood before the previous administration 3 times and asked them not to pass.
You weren't
No,
saying with
no.
that, Patrick. You had everything that we had in there. You had everything in there.
Right, you're right. Had everything in there, but except for the things that were spent out of my budget before I took this seat. I had all that.
Well, and that, we talked about that, and that came to, there was 11,000 and 5,000, and it came to about 16,000. Because there was the 5,000, as I recall, it was a tax thing.
And plus the senior center, who we paid a lump sum out of my budget. We paid that. So, you
That
know,
was
it's
budgeted,
this is.
Patrick, that was budgeted the way that it's been budgeted for the last 10 years. That wasn't budgeted any different. Now, you may have not wanted to pay the senior
Excuse me.
center.
Liz, could you explain how the senior center thing worked?
I went back like 4 or 5 years, and this last year was the first year that it was ever done in April. Most of the years it was done after, like, okay, so 2009, the budget was approved June 6th, and the first payment for the senior center was done in July. In 2011, the budget was passed on 6/15, 2011, and the first payment was done July 2nd. And in 2012, the budget was approved 5/25, and the first payment was done 6/19. And then this last one, the budget was approved on 4/22, and the lump payment was done on 5/7.
The lump payment was done.
And how much was that lump payment?
5,000.
5,000.
In the previous years, it was all done in brackets, you know, like in supplement payments. But this was the first year that was ever done in April, and the payment was put out even before Patrick took office. All the other ones was done either in end of May, and then they were paid in June or
But none of them
July.
were ever paid until after the budget was passed. So the budget was always passed before the payments were made.
Right.
And there was a concern this year that they were not getting their state money and that they really needed the lump sum up front.
Was that ever mentioned at one of the meetings? Who
Yes.
was
Not to
that?
my knowledge,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
it never was mentioned.
I remember that.
She might have known it because she talked to the former supervisor, but we weren't appraised.
Well, I
I'm
talked
saying,
to
I
the people
think
at the
that-
senior center, so I mean, I was
Well, we
aware
were
of that.
appraised of it when it was voted on.
Right, and
Wouldn't it be in the minutes? if
Well, it
was
should be in the
discussed?
minutes.
Right.
It should be in the minutes.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, so that's those are my concerns.
You know, but the only thing I
You
can
know.
say is nothing was ever paid out until the budget was passed.
Until my budget was passed.
Until the budget was passed on 4/22.
And before he
Okay.
took, and before he
Before
took
he took
office,
office.
And before I took
Right.
office.
which was all wrong.
Yeah.
But we need to move on from
Yes.
there. I'm tired of
Right.
listening to it.
Yeah.
right.
The past board made a lot of mistakes, and now we're here to suffer for it. So I think we just need to move on.
Yes, we do.
And I also, in conjunction with that, I also think that, you know, it's a heaviness, because it's like everything that we're trying to do with the new administration, you're looking at every nick and cranny and every little thing, instead of just coming together and saying, you know what, this is what we got, and we're going back trying to find stuff, trying to nitpick,
Exactly.
and it's just
A lot of
too
these
much.
questions should have been asked
Yeah.
years ago.
Right, and it's
No
way
questions
too
were ever
much.
asked like
Yeah,
this
and that's what
before.
I'm
Let me tell
trying
ya.
to say. I think that it's a lot of nitpicking, and it's a lot of
Right.
whatever, and this is what we got, which, well, you know, we said,
Right.
this is what we got, we were gonna leave the past behind,
Uh-huh.
and quit digging in, trying to find something, and just, this is what we got, this is our numbers, and let's go on.
And let's move
You know,
forward.
we're going back trying to find 2012, 29, 20, whatever, this is what we got, let's deal with it, and let's move on, so we can do some other things, cause it's
Exactly. I agree.
yeah, well, let's do it,
Well, let's do it then.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Let's quit
Instead of wasting
nitpicking at
time.
every little thing that's not his fault.
So, I mean, that's what I
Yeah,
would
we
like to
just
say.
have to
Okay, here we
base
go.
the figures as they are, that's all, and the figures don't lie, they are what
No,
they are.
no, they don't. No, they don't.
And they won't be lying ever again.
Right,
Right, they won't be lying again.
They'll all
Tell
be
you that.
right from now on.
I think,
Okay.
They haven't lied in the
Okay.
past, and they're not
Okay,
lying now,
okay,
so
okay,
let's
okay,
just move on.
okay.
leave it alone.
Let's go. Let's move on. Let's move on. Next on the agenda, up, Mike.
Can I suggest,
Yes.
when we introduce an ordinance, we should really make a motion to approve it, and then a second, and then we should make a motion to postpone it to our second meeting of this month, so the record's clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Because my understanding was there wasn't a motion, I missed the last meeting because I was on the country on vacation.
Right.
But there wasn't a motion made to approve it, so let's just, to get it officially on the table, move to approve it, second it, we don't vote on it,
Right.
but then make a motion to postpone it to the January 21st meeting.
This is, yeah, is this the amendment number right
Okay.
here then?
Yeah, it's proposed ordinance T dash 2013-05. It's amending the previous ordinance.
Okay.
So, if I could be a brute tonight, could someone
Can
make
make
that motion?
a motion.
Keep your lawyer happy.
So moved.
Need a second? All right.
Who made it?
I did.
Bender?
Trustee Bender,
And seconded by who?
Trustee Almsey.
Trustee Almacy.
Okay, so then can we do a voice vote?
No, we don't need to
No,
vote on that.
We don't need to do a
We're
mo-
not gonna vote on it, we're gonna now make a. I assume
but you made a motion to approve,
Right, and now they're gonna make a motion to
Postpone.
postpone until the January 21st board meeting.
So moved.
I second.
Trustee Almacy seconded.
Trustee Almsey seconded.
You called it 2013-05, but it says 0303.
I'll look and make sure that it's the correct one before we pass it.
Well,
Because I
Mine
think it's
says
03.
05.
Because we've only had one or two ordinances this year, so I think it is 03.
03 was, my understanding, 03 was the original,
That's,
ordinance
And
for
05
the
is the other one.
appropriation. And as I received a copy of it, it was 05, which is the amendment to ordinance 03.
But should that read 2014?
Well, it says ordinance
well, when we
20.
started this, it was
Started it, I know,
2013.
but
It
should
never
it be
changes
now?
its
So now
number.
it should be.
It does not.
Never changes its number. Once it was
Okay.
introduced,
Thank you.
it stays the
Okay.
same number. I'm
Good.
sorry, trustee Martin, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, it's just that, both of these say 2013-03. The only place that says 2013-05 is on the agenda.
Well, my copy that I made it, because mine's handwritten,
I've been real.
and on the second line, it says ordinance 2013 TR dash, and there's a space.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you.
I had
05.
written myself in my own handwriting,
05.
05.
I got
After
it.
looking
I
at
got
the
it.
agenda.
So we're talking about amendment to 2013-03, so this is gonna be 2013 TR 05.
Correct.
Got it, okay.
So you
I got it.
you need a voice vote on
To postpone.
Okay.
All righty, all in favor to postpone?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the approval of claims and demands and bills payable. I need a motion and a second in order to
I
have
move for
discussion.
approval of the claims and demands.
a second.
Motion by,
I have one
Linda?
question.
yes.
On the second page,
Can I see yours?
Housing Authority of Freeport,
Mm-hmm.
a toilet repair, and it's twice the
That was,
same amount.
that was broken down into two payments because it came out of his last month's grant and his current one.
Oh,
To
okay.
pay, it was $65 total.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Why did you pay for a toilet repair?
I know.
That's a question.
Huh?
I know, but I'm just saying, wouldn't the housing authority?
That was a
fix their-
good
Yeah.
reason.
No, but I'm just saying, wouldn't the housing authority fix their own?
Oh, no,
What happened?
no, no.
No,
You
they-
lose your key, you pay
We paid losing
$50
keys.
or something, yeah.
Oh,
If,
okay.
Everything.
if your
Yeah,
garbage can is
so-
broken,
Lord
They
knows
expect us
what
to
the
pay for that.
circumstances were
right?
Okay.
of how it was broken,
Oh, okay.
so that's probably why we don't see it very
Well,
often.
What happened was this gentleman called on Veterans Day and that's a holiday.
Oh, a holiday.
And so someone had to come in and fix it. So
Oh, okay.
that's why it was.
More.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just a question, I can't quite make the figures balance here. Total is 29,836.49 for all funds on page 6 down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Your question is that the total of 29?
Yeah, is the 29,836.49 total of all funds, capital, home
Yes.
relief,
Yes.
town fund?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cause I've got 12,000 here. Okay, that's 1315. But it still doesn't quite come up to the 29. Okay, it Liz, maybe you can help me with this. Would you look at the claims demands for me? And administration was 12,793.57.
Right.
Okay, and then, the assessor's administration was 1,000, so that gave us 13,987, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then the next one was 15,198.
Mm-hmm.
57.
Uh-huh.
Now that gets added to the 13,987.
Yep.
So that gives us the negative 225. Okay.
Yeah, the 425.
Okay, so the 13 and the 15, and then the 225 gives us the 29,836.
And the 425. Cause you have the community work program.
Oh, right, there it is.
Yep.
Okay, I got it.
Yep.
And then the Staples, what is the Staples credit plan for 225?
It's probably
that just-
Staples.
Is that just
It's
a?
a Staples bill.
Just Staples bill.
That's how they phrase their bill.
Oh,
Uh-huh. That's the
okay, so
invoice.
it's just a
Office
bill.
supplies,
Mhm.
probably.
Yeah.
Office
It's their
supplies.
invoice.
That's how they phrase, I know, it sounds
Okay.
crazy.
All right, okay. Okay,
How
got
are,
it.
how are we doing with the gas cards and stuff again?
We are officially now charging clients grants for gas cards.
Oh, okay.
So clients that are doing things that are outside of what we are requesting them to do,
Mm-hmm.
when they come for gas cards, we charge their grant for 'em.
So it doesn't come out of CWP anymore?
No.
Okay.
Not unless they're mandated to do something.
Right.
Is this just the gas cards and not the tokens?
Oh, they're the transit tickets as
Transit
well.
tickets?
Yeah, both.
Okay. That's what I
Both.
wanted to know.
So it's taken out of their grant
Mhm.
if they have an assignment that they have to do, but it's also taken out,
Mm-mm.
it could be taken out of CWP?
No. If they have an assignment that we send them to an assignment, we pay for transportation.
Okay.
If they come to us and say, well, I need some transit tickets to go to Save-A-Lot, then guess what? That's coming out of your grant. You need to have enough money in your grant to pay for your transportation.
And
So.
use it wisely.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't mean you have to fill their tank up.
Right.
One stop.
Now, how are we doing? Are we doing with, I don't know if this is part of, with people coming in, are we doing a lot better with, clients kind of cutting back? Or are we, I know, Nikki had said at one time with the Salvation Army, they were getting a lot of people and whatever, but with this work program and with all these other things, is it helping with our numbers?
We are getting more people coming in because the extension of the unemployment was cut.
Yeah.
So we are seeing more people.
Okay.
We are seeing more people. So that was unforeseeable. I mean, we couldn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
So we
And
are
Congress
having
hasn't made a decision on
Right.
that yet,
Yeah.
so.
Nope.
so
Okay.
And plus, they're gonna have a waiting week
Mhm.
to start the new year, so that'll really put them behind.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you should see a reduction in our medical, because we are no longer responsible to provide medical to clients because the Affordable Health Care Act kicked in on January 1st.
Okay, so that one, so we,
But now-
this, copay for FHN, we won't see things like that
No.
anymore. Okay.
Now, here's the thing.
Oh.
We had to give them a 30-day grace period for the ones who hadn't gotten their
Oh, okay.
medical cards yet.
Okay.
In order for them to get their medical cards. Now, by law, we have to provide them, if they are recipients, we have to provide them medical until they get their medical cards. Okay. Now, applicants, we deny from the get-go.
Oh, okay.
As soon as you come in, we're no longer offering
Yeah.
medical
Okay.
because you have to get a medical card. But
Okay.
for recipients, we have to honor that because they were grandfathered in.
Okay.
So new ones have to get the medical card, but the others are grandfathered at this point.
No, they're not. They're grandfathered until they get
Till
their
they
medical
the-
card.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay, so they have a grace period.
Yep, they have to
where
get the
new
medical cards.
applicants coming in do
Yes.
not.
And we've done a good job on being proactive and going to get your medical card part of your CWP assignment. You have to go get it. You know, you have to at least apply for it. So we're doing a good job with that, and we sent out some letters letting people know that they have to get their medical cards.
How is it with the budgeting class with all these numbers and?
Budgeting class, we had to. You're getting to my supervisor's report, but I'm going to go ahead and
Oh,
tell you
okay.
anyway.
Well, I mean, I can wait.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
We had to, our last budgeting class had to be canceled because it was too cold.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
we got another one planned another 2 weeks.
Okay.
We're going to try and get everybody through the budgeting class, every client. We're doing a lot of individual things with budget as well. The new budget sheets, when they see their general assistance professional, they're going over the budget sheets with them. So they'll know, so when it's time to do the budgeting class, they'll be familiar with the paperwork already.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a constant process that we're going through with that.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Any more questions on claims and demands? No? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Okay. Trustee Aldensi.
Aye.
Trustee Bender.
Aye.
Trustee Sellers.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
No, until we get the budget amendment done.
Supervisor Sellers.
Aye.
Okay, 4-1.
All right. Next on the agenda is the supervisor's report. So I'll get a chance to do a little talking.
Okay.
All right. All right. It won't be long, trust me. It won't be long. We had to reschedule the reading assessments for the adult basic literacy program that we have because it was too cold. It'll be rescheduled to the 29th of January. Clients will come here and they will be assessed so we can find out their reading levels and get them started in the reading program. Okay, we're still working away with the work and training program. Myself and my CWP coordinator, we're putting together a snow crew for Freeport downtown development. Hopefully the snow crew will be ready within the next couple weeks. We are meeting with the Mad Men group next Thursday to be supervisors of our clients when they're at work sites. So we're trying to secure proper supervision. And these guys are serious, and they'll take it serious because I met with them already once. They're interested, but I want them to meet Brian because he's going to be the contact person. He's going to quarterback this whole thing. So I have to have a conversation with, yes.
Just a question, what you said before, who's doing the reading assessments? Is that the Highland
Highland.
folks? Okay, are they gonna come here to do
Yes.
them for you?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's the one girl, right? What's her name?
Oh, can't remember her name, but she's going to be
Yeah,
here doing the
okay.
assessments. So that's
Teal. Is her last name?
no,
Oh.
no, it won't be her.
Oh.
It won't be her. It'll be someone from Highland.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the reason why we're doing it that way, because we can take them only so far here, then we can transition them right into Highland's
Oh.
adult literacy
Great. Sounds good.
program.
Okay.
So I think that'll be a good thing for us. I will begin conversation with Attorney Phillips about our contracts with local food pantry. Couple kinks need to work out, and so we gotta do some thinking on that. So I'll be in contact with him. I've already talked about transportation, how we're charging clients grants for their transportation.
Patrick, can I just ask a question about the food pantry thing? I guess I'm a little confused because let's say we contract for them to get their food from the pantry and then they have to spend their dollars. Aren't they allowed to get food from the pantry without paying for it if they need it?
They're not paying for it
They're
at the
not-
pantries, are they?
They're not
We're not
Paying.
paying for the food.
for the food at all.
Well, but we're paying FACC and we're gonna pay Salvation Army, right?
For the services rendered, yes.
Yeah, see, I can't,
can't
I'm
work.
just struggling with how that really works in terms of coming out of their grant, you know, and then they have to get their
Oh.
food from there.
The pantries will be vendors, just like Save a Lot is a vendor, just like Family Dollar is a vendor.
Okay, but how can they be a vendor and at the same time be a food giveaway place?
Because we can contract in the government agreements, right? We can contract with, right?
The question she's asking though is, why don't they just go to the food pantries anyway and get the food free?
They will.
Why are we part of it?
They're doing it.
Is that your question?
Yeah,
they're doing
I see, I can't
Why
quite,
are we contracting with them if they can already do it? That's what she's asking.
Well, the reason why I think this is a great idea, because we are recirculating tax dollars back into these organizations, and this money will be circulated back into our community. Now,
I understand that,
no,
but-
no, apparently you don't, because when you spend with the Save a Lot, Save a Lot's corporate headquarters is going to get the bulk of that money. That money is going to be spent in Save a Lot headquarters community. This money now is being spent with these pantries here inside of our community.
And won't it also allow, like the Salvation Army, FACC, to do more?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
our money is just rotating
Right.
back into the nonprofit
Right. It's a-
organizations,
it's
which
a
will
simple-
help build them up, where they don't have to look out and ask for help from the community to help build them up, which we're already, the community is
Right.
building them up with our tax dollars that we get from
It's a simple concept.
Township. That's what I think it is. I mean,
I'm just
Simple concept.
stuck on the fact that, you know, their grant money is gonna go to these
It's not their
places.
money.
It's you understand it. It's the grant. It's going towards that, but that's still taxpayers' dollars,
Yeah, I understand that,
and we need to collaborate and stretch the taxpayers' dollars as far as we possibly can.
Well, I just wanna be sure that we're not doing this on the backs of people who could get it without their grant money being used.
Well, they can also get $200 in link as well.
Right.
Right.
Besides it, and go to 6 or 7 different pantries.
Right.
And I think the big thing is people are
Yeah.
sick of seeing people in line in front of them, being able to buy steaks and,
You always
while they're
refer.
sitting there eating hamburger or tuna
I
fish.
understand.
People are, they're sick of seeing it.
I am.
You know, I am
Yeah.
too.
Right.
And
Can I
mean,
ask
work
a
with them,
question?
Yes.
They're getting $245 a month. Is what you're saying, that $245 isn't going to the pantries, is it?
No.
That's what I think she's understanding.
Where is it going?
The money that we are going to give to the pantries will be for the services that they are providing to our clients. It's operating costs to keep them
Is
going.
it like a grant from
It-
us that
It's
does
a
not
governmental
come out
agreement.
of their grant money?
It doesn't come out
Comes
of
out
their
of-
grant money,
yeah.
right?
It comes out of their grant money.
Yes.
He's saying it comes out of their.
It
grant.
does
Comes
come out of their grant money. Yes.
$245? Okay,
Yes, it does.
okay.
I don't understand the confusion.
But it's helping it's helping our Salvation Army, our FACC, and different places like that to build and become bigger and stronger versus
Yeah.
our dollars going out helping Save a Lot, Aldi's, and whatever become bigger and stronger. So if we can help them, they can help us.
And if you look at what Salvation Army gifts out for food pantries, which at one time I did, it makes our clients more responsible because they're gonna give balanced food pantries out. It's not gonna be just all this, or there's fruit, there's vegetables,
And
there's
meat.
soup, there's maybe tuna fish, macaroni and cheese, ramen noodles, fruit if it's available, you know, fresh fruit during the season, eggs,
So
and
they
then
give-
a meat.
But
What
if you look
So
into.
you're not going and spending all
Right.
your food
But if you
stamps
look,
on
the
meat.
government is getting ready to do a cutback on,
Food stamps?
is it $9 billion, I think it was, or something like that, on cutting back on food stamps. So, I mean, everybody's cutting back and trying to find a way to save and make this money help, you know, go
Yeah.
further and whatever.
The
And I
government's
think-
also cutting us back on the commodities that they generally give us. They've cut way back
Oh, have they?
on what we get from them every month. And actually, it's like Save-A-Lot, here's somebody just spent $24.44. Well, they could come to our place for $24.44 and probably get more food than they got at Save-A-Lot. It isn't that they're gonna get $245 worth of groceries at our place.
No,
I mean, it's
understand that.
24, it's
My-
44, or.
The concept, I like the concept, but I am concerned about how that plays in terms of our obligation to our clients versus a pantry and the Salvation Army, which gives away free food.
They can do both. They would still come to our place once every 30 days.
Well,
They still
I
have the
just
right
wanna
to do
be sure
that.
that we're clean on that.
Well, I mean, we have no
Clients.
choice. We have to give them a pantry every 30 days, regardless of anything else that is done here. We still have to give them, I mean, we
Are
couldn't
they
get,
going to
we couldn't be in the
have-
Hunger Connection, we couldn't be in there, if we didn't do it every 30 days.
Are they gonna have to sign something to agree that this is how they're gonna spend their grant money?
Sign something to agree, like what?
They'll sign something to agree that that's how they're gonna spend their grant money?
No, they'll be the vendors. They'll spend it there.
I just wanna be sure we're not skirting the law on this one in terms of.
I'm not. One thing I'm not going to do, Trustee Martin, is ever skirt the law.
Yeah, I just don't know what the state rules and regs are regarding.
that's
I mean,
why-
that's
Sure,
really
Michael
an
will
attorney
find
rules.
that out for
That's
us.
why I'm talking to the attorney about it.
Okay,
All right.
I'm fine with that. Thank
Okay.
you.
I think that's all I get for the-
Would you, Michael?
for the supervisor's report. Now is the assessor's report, please.
I have nothing to say.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. I guess we're on to the trustees' report. Anybody?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Okay. Other business?
No, she's not here.
Whiz. Public comment.
None.
Sit down.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Right.
Second.
Second. Oh,
Alright.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Ayes have
Now,
it.
we need you guys that want to, that voted for it, just please sign this for the claims and demands so they
Okay.
can, bills can be paid.
Send it over.